Parker said the story's on Boxing Scene for anybody wondering. These were quotes from Talk Sports, by the way. So shout out to them. All right. I'll never fight Fury. I'm like a younger brother to Fury. His family has treated me so well, from his father and everybody, by the way. Okay. I'll find another path to the title if I have to. All right. Those are the words of Joseph Parker. Okay. Who got bit by a spider, by the way, a couple years ago, and his last name's Parker. This you cannot make this up. Like, look at this. It's like he's like Fury's Iron Man to him. You know, he's like he looks up to him.
I mean, look, man, I don't know what he meant by that.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
I don't understand it. This is the sport of boxing. It's prize fighting. You got Big Baby Miller, who was pretty cool with the Polish phenom, Babyface, and you got these different brotherhoods across the whole board, but they always end up with, for the right money, maybe that could happen. I never seen Tyson Fury and Joseph Parker really that close. I mean, I don't know behind the scenes in boxing if they're really good friends and, they really hang out or whatever that meant that, he's my big brother. But, I mean, what am I to take from it? A smart way to duck? I mean, why would you duck a payday like that? I don't get it. I don't get what exactly he meant by, I won't fight him.
He meant it's his brother, bro. Like, he ain't going to fight his brother.
But he's not your brother. He's not your brother.
Abe, do you know how far back this debate goes? Do you remember having this debate like a decade ago? And
yes.
I remember you going on YouTube, calling your brother and asking him if he would fight you for $8 to $10 million. And your brother said, hell yes. And you were taken aback. You were like, how could you say you would fight me? And your brother was right.
I have that video still.
Do you know why we haven't had one of the reasons we haven't had an undisputed heavyweight champion in 2 decades? Because the Klitschko brothers refused to fight each other.
I give the Klitschkos a pass.
Refused to fight each other.
There
is a warrior code, D-Style, that goes well beyond, way past when boxing started, that if the two baddest men are in the same room with each other and the crowd is demanding a fight, it is incumbent upon those two men to fight each other no matter what. Everything has to go aside. And boxing has strayed away from that for many reasons. They made it too complex, too much mental gymnastics. I can't fight this guy because he's on this network, he's with this promoter, he's with this manager, and that's why we're not going to get Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. But it goes even deeper than that. Now these guys have this AAU basketball mentality that I want to be these guys' friends. Okay?
But if you look at the WBO and the IBF rankings, Parker's there at 4 for the IBF and 3 for the WBO. I don't believe he's ranked by the WBA, which seems really weird. I'm just looking at the Fight News rankings, which are usually pretty up to date, and he's 5th at the WBC. So whatever he says right now, considering what's happening at the top, the Usyk-Joshua rematches, and whoever Fury's going to fight, maybe it's Dillian White, maybe he takes a voluntary and then fights Dillian White. Maybe he's just looking at the long haul, like there's not going to be a unified title anytime soon. There's not going to be a scenario where Tyson Fury and Joseph Parker are going to match up anytime soon. So, he could be, the comments could be just like a prisoner of the moment, how he's feeling the love in this camp and can't imagine fighting this guy. I think we just wait and let time sort it all out in boxing politics.
Well, I am a woman and I can be very loving, but no, it's a no. No, I don't care, little brother, what we doing? I have 2 older sisters. If my sister, listen, we debate. She think, of course, she's the older sibling. She can cook better than me right now, but I'm on her heels, right? So in my mind, I'm like, no, we're going to go toe to toe. I'm going to make sure I'm going to try to outcook you one day. So we have little battles. And this, of course, I know it's completely different, but what I'm saying is I want the smoke. I want the juice. I'm going to show you, okay, yeah, you big bro, but little bro got that work and I'm here to take it from you. That's what it's about. It's about competition. You want, that will to win and to show you just that competitive drive. So no.
Would be, he may have more than enough money for himself. We're viewing this question through the prism of not living with that kind of income. And, think about, all of the, off-quoted comments of Marvin Hagler about when guys get comfortable, and then it takes a little more money to get you up for these fights. So Parker may be saying to himself, yeah, it's a lot of money. How much money can I spend in my life? I'm doing fine. Would I prefer to hit somebody else versus Tyson, for the same paycheck or enough of a paycheck? Sure. The drive to do these matchups is a whole lot more complex than just you're either in or you're out. We need to understand that those nuances and the money proposition has a lot to do with it.
Absolutely. Now, I don't want to say close the poll because it was pretty one-sided. About over 60% felt that, yeah, he should definitely, that's a weak sauce, that he doesn't want to fight Fury. But 35% were empathetic with 35% is pretty high, by the way, but that's whatever. But I think Joseph Parker signed into like a bunch of accounts and voted for himself. But Maestro, talk to us, brother.
Well, first of all, I find it very funny that people who've never fought and don't have the cojones to fight professionally are out calling Joseph Parker all kind of names, talking about how they would fight their brother when
that's the name of the game, right? That's the name of the game.
When they're not fighting anything. So I don't know. Like, what is this? I mean, have you ever fought at all? Have you gotten into a professional boxing ring, but then you're out there talking trash about Joe Parker for saying that he wouldn't fight a guy who's pretty much co-funding his training camps right now, because the man's sleeping in Tyson Fury's houses, training in Tyson Fury's gym, and training with Tyson Fury's trainer. To call me crazy, but it would be an act of betrayal if I did that to somebody and then they started calling me up for a fight. So I find it a little bit funny, to say the least, that guys who again don't fight.
I mean, you're talking to the whole panel. We all think he should fight him.
I don't. You can take it anywhere you want. If you're on the panel, if you're in the chat, if you don't fight professionally, you shouldn't be calling a fighter soft or a B word or any of these other things. That's my opinion.
I agree with that.
Entitled to my opinion. And if anybody doesn't like it, tough cookies. That's probably what you're eating tonight anyways. I mean, a lot of these guys don't even try to stay in shape. So it is what it is.
Thoughts?
I was talking to you about this earlier, and this reminds me of, I'm going to date myself now, back in 1991 when Maurice Blocker fought Simon Brown for the IBF and WBC unification welterweight fight. Those guys were the best of friends. I don't think I've seen two fighters closer than them in the sport of boxing. They were both from Washington, D.C. They were always in training camps together. And Simon Brown knocked him out in the 10th round. And after the fight, he just hugged him and he was just crying. You could see the love these guys had for each other. It was crazy. But the thing is if Tyson Fury ends up unifying these titles, then where does Joseph Parker go? He's got nowhere to go. But they are very close. Andy Lee is Tyson Fury's cousin, and they're just a very tight-knit group over there. So I understand why he's saying it. I can't really fault him because, as Maestro said, it is loyalty, and it's hard to criticize loyalty. But in the same token, with Simon Brown and Maurice Blocker, they said, this is business. We can make a lot of money together. This is a unification fight. Let's just get this done, and we can love each other after the fight. So that's how it is.
Do I agree, Maestro, that people shouldn't be calling fighters like bums and by whatever name it is? Yes, but do we have a right to have an opinion? If I think Crawford. I apologize. I think Parker. I'm very disappointed that he's saying he would not fight Fury. That does disappoint me. As a fan, it disappoints me. And I have a right to feel that way. I'm somebody that supports the sport. I fund the sport as a fan. So do fans. and fans have a right to express their opinion. They feel you don't need to fight professionally to have an opinion about boxers and boxing.
Said that they don't have a right to express their opinion.
I'm just telling you what I think. I think he should be able to, like, in my opinion, if the opportunity comes, he should fight him. You gave your thoughts, brother. It's my it's my time right now, really quick. With all respect, let me give my time. Right? All I'm saying is that fans do not need to be professional boxers. In that case, let's all just stop doing podcasting. Let's just stop giving our opinion and so let professional boxers give their opinion then. Only professional boxers can come on and critique and give opinions about pro boxers. I mean, I just don't think that's reasonable. I'll let you respond. 30 seconds. Go ahead.
You're not arguing against my argument. You're arguing against some straw man that you've created that it has nothing to do with what I said.
You did say, I find it funny that guys, want Parker to fight Fury. Did you not say that?
I do find it funny. I never said that they shouldn't say it, that they don't have a right to say it.
Okay, so I did address what you said.
They want.
I'm just saying I disagree with that statement.
I think there's a way to say it, and there's a way not to say it. In fairness, is that correct, Maestro?
Well, I guess we all word things differently, right? I mean, some guys get a little brazen with it. I get it, right? Yeah. But that's part of the boxing culture to a certain degree. I mean, I grew up with that. I grew up with people calling fighters bums. I don't agree with it, right? Yeah. But I grew up with that. It doesn't mean they mean bad on the fighters or anything like that. Just how they talk. Yeah. You know what I mean? I disagree with it. But
I was responding to a couple of comments that were specifically the B word, and I'm not talking about bum, D-style. So I wasn't.
Okay, well, and that I do agree with. I don't think anybody should be calling a fighter a bitch. So that I agree with 100%.